Right now, the United States is being torn apart by two weather extremes happening simultaneously. On one side of the country, wind chills have dropped to -14 degrees in New York City, colder than parts of Antarctica at the same hour. On the other side, a massive atmospheric river is about to dump over 100 inches of snow across the Sierra Nevada. And in between, temperatures in Kansas City hit 72 degrees yesterday, warmer than most of Florida, in the middle of February. Three completely different weather disasters, all unfolding at once, and what is developing next could be even worse. In the next 12 minutes, I am going to give you the exact timing for a dangerous severe weather outbreak set to slam the southern plains and the southeast on Valentine's Day, an unprecedented heat wave that could shatter records by 45 degrees above normal next week, and a coast-to-coast storm system that will impact nearly every American over the next 7 days. City by city, hour by hour. Nobody else is breaking this down the way I am about to. But first, you need to understand what is happening right now across New England, because that region just took another brutal hit, and the cold gripping it is unlike anything they have felt in nearly 20 years. Here is the important part. New England is under siege. If you live anywhere from New York City to northern Maine, pay close attention to what I am about to tell you. This weekend, a Clipper storm buried coastal towns north of Boston under more than a foot of snow. Beverly and Salisbury saw around 13 inches. Marblehead hit 12 inches. Even central Boston picked up 4 to 5 inches, enough to turn every street into an ice rink on Super Bowl weekend. Logan International Airport was forced into ground stops. Hundreds of flights were delayed or canceled over the last 36 hours, and the ripple effects are still being felt right now. Behind the snow came Arctic air so brutal that cities across Massachusetts declared cold emergencies and opened warming centers. New York City woke up Sunday to 3 degrees Fahrenheit with wind chills near -14. Officials warned that exposed skin could begin to freeze in under an hour. Across New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania, the National Weather Service issued extreme cold alerts for higher elevations like the southern Poconos. Meanwhile, in the Northeast Corridor, multiple Amtrak and high-speed Acela trains were canceled, leaving thousands of passengers stranded as tracks and equipment struggled in the deep freeze. Here is the important part. This is not over. Another Alberta Clipper is rolling through right now, set to drop a widespread 3 to 6 inches of snow from Buffalo to Boston by Wednesday morning, with eastern Maine picking up 6 to 10 inches on top of the foot of snow still sitting on the ground. Snowfall rates could hit 1 to 1.5 inches per hour tonight. And what is developing out west right now will eventually make its way to this region too. But we will get to that in a moment. Now let me take you to the other side of the country, where the western mountains are getting absolutely hammered. A powerful atmospheric river is slamming the west coast right now, and here is what nobody else is telling you about this system. Between now and February 20th, the Sierra Nevada could see 100 to 150 inches of snow. That is over 12 feet. Let me put that in perspective. That is taller than a 2-story building. This is a winter storm of historic proportions for California, Nevada, Utah, and Colorado, states that desperately need this snowfall after one of the driest winters on record. Right now, winter weather advisories are up across western Montana, where mountain passes are expecting close to 10 inches with whiteout conditions and sudden visibility drops. In eastern Idaho, most of the accumulation will stack above 6,000 feet, with gusts over 30 miles per hour sweeping snow across remote roads. The Tetons and the ranges near Yellowstone are bracing for 6 to 12 inches of fresh snow, with wind gusts reaching 50 miles per hour on exposed peaks. Now, let me explain what an atmospheric river actually means for you, because this term is critical to understanding everything that happens next. An atmospheric river is essentially a long, narrow corridor of moisture that flows through the atmosphere, sometimes stretching over 1,000 miles. When it hits mountains, all that moisture gets squeezed out as massive amounts of rain and snow. The safety takeaway is simple. If you are anywhere near mountain passes in the western states right now, travel could range from difficult to completely impossible during the heaviest bands, especially overnight. Chain controls are in effect. Highway teams in Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming are running plows around the clock. For ski resorts, Park workers and anyone planning mountain travel, check conditions before you go and carry emergency supplies in your vehicle. If you are watching this from anywhere in the highlighted western states, drop your city and state in the comments right now. I will personally give you the forecast for your area. Thousands of viewers are already doing this and getting critical updates. Do not wait. Type your location now. But this atmospheric river is only the beginning of this story, because all of that energy is about to cross the Rockies and fuel something far more dangerous. Here is where the weather map gets wild. The central United States is experiencing one of the warmest stretches of winter weather in recent memory, and the numbers are staggering. Kansas City hit 72 degrees yesterday. That is not a typo. 72 degrees in February, warmer than Jacksonville, Florida. Across the Great Plains, temperatures are running 15 to 20 degrees above average, even after a cold front moved through this morning. Little Rock, Arkansas was in the mid-70s today. Chicago hit the upper 30s and low 40s, well above where it should be. Now let me explain what wind shear means, because this is the ingredient that turns an ordinary storm into a tornado producer. Wind shear is when wind speed or direction changes at different heights in the atmosphere. When you have strong wind shear combined with warm, moist air and instability, the atmosphere can start to rotate, and that rotation is what creates tornadoes. The safety connection is this. When meteorologists talk about a high shear environment, that is your signal to have a plan. Know where your nearest interior room is. Have weather alerts turned on. Do not rely on outdoor sirens alone. Here is the important part. By Thursday and Friday, warm air will continue to build across the Great Plains, while very cold temperatures lock in across the Northeast. This sharp temperature contrast is exactly what a powerful storm needs to intensify rapidly. The same moisture from that atmospheric river out west is going to cross the Rockies and collide with this warm, unstable air mass. By Friday afternoon, watch for scattered showers and some snow reaching as far south as eastern Arizona. By late Friday night, the storm engine starts firing in earnest. Saturday morning, a large area of moderate to heavy rainfall will stretch from Tennessee all the way back to Texas. And by Saturday afternoon, instability will explode as Gulf moisture surges northward. This is the setup meteorologists have been watching all week. And what happens next is the forecast that could change everything for millions of people across the southern United States. This is the forecast that demands the most attention. The southern plains and the southeast are facing a severe weather outbreak that could be the first significant threat of the winter season. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. This is a legitimate dangerous weather setup with damaging winds and tornadoes on the table for Valentine's weekend. Remember those temperature numbers I mentioned earlier, 72 degrees in Kansas City, mid-70s in Little Rock. For the tens of millions of people from Texas to Georgia, those numbers translate into atmospheric fuel for violent storms. Here is the important part. By Saturday afternoon, instability will surge across the southern plains as warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico collides with the approaching storm system and strong upper-level wind shear. Dallas-Fort Worth. Your severe weather window opens Saturday afternoon. Storms could fire as early as 1 or 2 in the afternoon, with the greatest tornado risk between 3 and 8 in the evening. Tulsa, listen carefully. This is important. Your window runs from late Saturday afternoon through the evening hours. Expect strong to severe storms with damaging wind gusts and the possibility of rotating storms. Memphis, you are in a unique position. The severe weather reaches you Saturday evening into the overnight hours, and overnight tornadoes are the most dangerous kind because people are asleep. Have your weather alerts set to full volume. By Saturday evening, a large area of storm activity will stretch from Missouri back into Louisiana, with damaging winds and a continued tornado risk. Then as we push into the overnight hours and Sunday morning, the storm moves into the southeast. Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida could all see severe weather continuing through Sunday. Now, for those who have never been through a Valentine's Day severe weather outbreak, here is what to expect. Skies that look green and heavy. Wind that shifts direction suddenly. The air feels thick and electric. Then the sirens. If you are in a mobile home, leave before the storms arrive. Get to a sturdy structure. Interior room, lowest floor. away from windows. If you are in the affected area right now, comment your location below. I am reading every single comment and responding with specific information for your area. Hundreds of people have already done this. Do not wait. Keep in mind, many of these same areas dealt with ice and snow just 2 weeks ago. We are now transitioning to a severe weather threat. That kind of whiplash puts strain on infrastructure and first responders. For tens of millions of residents, the question is not whether Saturday will be rough, it is how rough, and for how long. Looking ahead, the weather pattern across the United States is set to become even more extreme over the next 7 to 10 days. And here is what nobody else is telling you yet. By Sunday into Monday, the Valentine's Day storm will push into the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, bringing rain and potentially some wintry precipitation to Pennsylvania and New Jersey. The latest models show minimal freezing rain or drizzle and light snowfall on the northern side of the system, but this could change. Now let me explain what a temperature inversion is, because it matters for next week. A temperature inversion happens when a layer of warm air sits on top of cold air near the surface. Normally, temperature drops as you go higher, but during an inversion, the pattern flips. This traps cold air and pollutants near the ground and can also determine whether precipitation falls as rain, freezing rain, or snow. The safety connection is that freezing rain during an inversion is extremely dangerous for driving and can bring down power lines and tree branches. If you hear forecasters mention an inversion, prepare for icy conditions even if temperatures feel mild. Here is the important part. After the Valentine's Day storm clears, the GFS model is showing an absolutely jaw-dropping heatwave building across the northern plains and Midwest. By Tuesday of next week, some areas could be 40 to 45 degrees above average. We are talking 70s in Minnesota. In February, that would be historic. Southwest Minnesota could potentially reach the 70s. If that happens, and these trends are holding firm in the models, severe weather would not be impossible as far north as Nebraska and Iowa next week. Another potential storm system is developing around February 16th through the 25th. The pattern supports at least 2, maybe 3 large storm systems during that 10-day window. Long-range models are showing developments that could bring significant impacts to the northern plains and the Midwest. It is too early to know exact details, but I will be monitoring this closely with a full update early next week. Make sure you do not miss it. With these forecasts in mind, here is what you need to know right now. This is not just about one storm. We are looking at simultaneous blizzard conditions across western mountains, a severe weather outbreak across the southern tier, brutal Arctic cold still gripping the Northeast, and an approaching record-shattering heat wave. 4 different weather extremes at once. For air travel, Logan Airport in Boston is still recovering from hundreds of delayed and canceled flights. The Northeast Corridor rail service has been disrupted by frozen switches and ice-covered tracks. If you are flying through any northeastern hub this week, build in extra time and check your flight status before you leave home. For the southern plains and the southeast, your preparation window is now through Friday night. Here is the important part. If you must drive through the severe weather zone on Saturday, your safest window is before noon, before storms fire. After 1 in the afternoon across Texas and Oklahoma, conditions will deteriorate rapidly. Have a charged phone, a plan for shelter, and weather alerts turned on. For anyone in the western mountains, do not attempt mountain pass travel during the heaviest snow bands without chains, emergency supplies, and a full tank of fuel. Prepare now, not tomorrow morning, now. Beyond the continental forecasts, there is a story unfolding in Hawaii that most people are not paying attention to. On the Big Island, access roads to the summits of Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa are closed under a rare blizzard warning. Temperatures have dropped below freezing above 11,000 feet, with 10 to 16 inches of snow and gusts near 50 miles per hour covering observatory roads. The same storm is hammering the lower islands with heavy rain and damaging wind, cutting power to thousands of customers on Oahu, the Big Island, and Maui, and triggering landslides on key routes like the Hana Highway. A statewide emergency declaration through Tuesday shows how seriously officials are treating this unusual combination of mountain blizzards, flooding rain, and damaging wind. Utility crews are racing to restore power between rounds of heavy rain. Meanwhile, across the mainland, recovery from the massive storm that hit just days ago is still underway. That system dumped over a foot of snow along a 1,300-mile stretch from Arkansas to New England, was blamed for dozens of deaths and hundreds of thousands of power outages, and led to more than 17,000 canceled flights. Many power lines, tracks, and roads remain weakened, making every new burst of snow or cold more dangerous than the forecast maps alone suggest. Let us recap what we have covered. The Northeast is locked in Arctic cold, with wind chills to -14 and another 3 to 6 inches of snow on the way. The Western Mountains are bracing for over 100 inches of snow from a historic atmospheric river event. The Southern Plains and the Southeast face the first significant severe weather outbreak of this winter on Valentine's Day, with damaging winds and tornadoes. And next week, an unprecedented heat wave could push temperatures 45 degrees above normal across the Northern Plains and Midwest. Over 30 states are dealing with weather alerts of some kind right now. The next 7 days will reshape the weather landscape across the entire country. I will be tracking every single development closely. If you want updates specific to your area, drop your location in the comments right now. Tell me where you are watching from and what weather you are seeing outside your window so everyone in the community knows what is really happening on the ground. Hundreds of people are already doing this and helping each other prepare. Share this video with everyone you know in the affected areas. They need to see this before the weekend. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. I hope everyone stays safe through Valentine's weekend. I hope the tornado threat underperforms. But the setup is there, and the models are consistent. You have been warned. You have the information. What you do with it is up to you. Here is the important part. The best time to prepare is always before you need to.